You want your sleeves folded like that?
No,
okay.
Thank you.
Other side. Mm-hmm.
Okay, bet. All right, cool.
It was given unkept.
You know what? He's starting.
I know, I'm starting too early. Okay, let me stop.
It's okay. Keep it for the video. Welcome to Marked View. I'm your host, Emmy, and here we are uniting perspectives, embracing marks, and seeking answers with childlike faith, where your distinct marked view is not only welcome, but celebrated, contributing to the vibrant conversation and understanding that defines our community. As you guys can tell, I'm joined with the one and only Ft.Pastor Mercia.
Yeah.
You are here, and I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
First invitation.
I know, right?
I'm honored.
I'm honored. Okay. Today I have a couple questions.
Okay.
And my mark is a question mark. And I believe that you come with an exclamation mark and a period.
I always do.
Okay. You're going to make your mark every single time. Yes.
I'll try.
Right. So let's get right into these questions. And
Okay.
I would love to learn from you, and I'd love the viewers to listen into our conversation.
Cool.
So the first question I have for you is, how do you pursue what God has called you to do, leaving behind what he has accomplished already?
It's like 3 questions in one.
It's not. You always say that.
I know, right? I feel like it's so long. Okay, first part, how do you pursue
what God has
called you to do?
Leaving behind what he has already done. Like, he has already blessed you. He has already done this, that, and the third. But then he's calling you to something new. And a lot of people tend to stay in their comfort zone. Like me, I tend to stay in the comfort zone. If I'm making enough money, I'm already like at a place where I love to be. But God is calling me to something higher, from faith to faith, glory to glory. How is it I'm supposed to leave behind what he has already done and go towards what he has for me?
Well, I think when you give God your yes, it's your yes, period. And I think a lot of times we think that we've given God a yes, and then when we get comfortable, we settle, right? And then our yes turns into a no. So first of all, we have to understand that if we are going to yield our lives to Jesus, when we give him a yes, it's a yes in the good, it's a yes in the bad, it's a yes in the ugly, it's a yes, period.
Right.
You know? And when it comes to moving forward to what God has for you, it's always understanding that God is not finished. When you understand that you're a work in progress and you're not perfected on this side of eternity,
right,
then you need to keep moving forward. So when God tells you it's time to let go of something, you should be willing to let go of it. You should be willing to move forward. I think comfortability and complacency is the killer of future and vision. Right. Because when you're comfortable, let me just give you an example. I think like when I was in high school, I told my mom that I wanted to be an LVN before becoming an RN. Right. And I said, Mom, there's this bridge program. It's so good after high school. Yeah. You know, you get to go straight and be an LVN and I can make money sooner, good money. Right. And she just looked at me and she said, no, just go straight for your bachelor's. And I said, but why? I could be making good money in the interim. And she said, no, just go straight for your bachelor's. Right. And today I realize that because had I gone through the LVN program instead of going to get my bachelor's, I would have gotten comfortable making that money. Right. And I would have totally missed the greater side of being a nurse, which not just includes the money as an RN, but, you know, the opportunities, the advancement, you know. So I think in order to be able to move forward to what God has for us, we have to understand that, one, when we give him a yes, it's a yes. And don't flip-flop on him. Right. Because, you know, we like to flip-flop on God, you know. Today we say yes, tomorrow things get sketchy and we're like, let me think about it. Right. There's no thinking about it. If you give God your yes, you have to give him your yes. The people who are in the cloud of witnesses, the Abrahams and all of them, they gave God their yes and they stuck to it. When God said, hey, take your son and go sacrifice him, he didn't flip-flop on him. Child. What would it? You know, his yes to God was his yes. Right. And that's why he's a father of many nations. Like, and he's always spoken, like he's in the cloud of witnesses. And so I think, you know, one thing is just giving God your yes and sticking to it.
Right.
And 2, understanding that you're never going to be perfected on this side of eternity. And so with that understanding, you know that every time you give God your yes, there's something better on the other side. You don't have to see it. You don't have to understand it.
Right.
You don't have to know it, because God has already told us, my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways.
Right.
So if you just leave it all into God's hands and say, my yes is yes, and move towards what he has, I believe that that's how you can pursue what he has for you.
That's really good. I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Like, me being comfortable where I am is actually giving God a no.
Yeah.
And it's actually disobedience.
It is. And partial obedience is still disobedience.
That's so true. So what if I do go towards what God has called me to do, but still in my heart I'm feeling uncomfortable? Like, God, like, I don't understand why you called me. Why would you even do that to me? Well,
one thing that I've learned through scripture and through life is that nothing God ever calls you to do is comfortable. And if it is comfortable, I would question if it came from God.
Wow. Okay.
He never calls you to do things that are comfortable. Everything you do is going to be outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
When he told Abraham, take his son and go sacrifice him, that was uncomfortable.
It is.
You know?
Right.
When he told Moses to go tell Pharaoh to let my people go, that's uncomfortable.
Right.
You know, when he called John the Baptist to be living in the desert.
Right.
All his life until the Messiah comes. That's like, who wants to live in the desert eating locusts and honey?
Nobody.
While everybody else is living their best life in Jerusalem and Israel doing their thing,
Exactly.
he's calling you to live in the desert.
Okay.
You know, nothing God calls you to do is comfortable. Everything is uncomfortable. But the more uncomfortable something is, the greater the reward on the other side.
That's
good. Facts.
This is straight facts. You came in hot today. We want to see it, girl. No, that's so good. And that's really something I've been learning. And I feel like you are the right person to ask, just seeing your life and the way that God has literally brought you from one stage to the other. And it's just been like a uphill, type of thing. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in, on your side, usually on the personal side, it's like, I don't feel like that. But, for us looking, looking at you, it's like from one place to another, from glory to glory. And so I'm like, maybe I should ask her this question because I feel like that's where I'm going. Yeah, girl. Thought I'd learn from you. So I got that from your sermon that you preached, the first one, bring you out to enter in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. And I just, honestly, what you have been preaching nowadays, I feel like I've told people there's an oil on you.
Wow.
And I just feel like God has given me the opportunity to tap into that.
Amen.
So, why not? You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the proximity of my circle.
Yeah.
And I would be foolish to stick around people who I know more. Why not hang out with people who know more than me?
Right.
You feel me? I can learn from that.
I feel the same.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so the second question I have for you, you ready? Maybe this is 5 questions in one.
Oh, Lord, here we go, y'all.
Yes, so how did you learn? Okay, you're a woman who balances so many plates, many hats you wear, and I admire. On the outside, I was like, girl, you got it, okay? How do you learn to balance holding all the positions that you do, doing all the things that you do, and not compromise who you are?
Okay. Yeah, that's like 5 questions in one, child.
Right.
So one thing I had to do was let go of control. I have like an alpha personality. Like, I like to control everything. I don't even know where that came from. I think I get it from my dad.
Really?
But I had to get to a place, especially after I got married, I had to realize that I cannot control everyone and everything. I can control me.
Right.
And that's where I needed to begin. That's number one. I had to control me. Number 2, I was a person who, I think like any other young lady growing up, wants the approval of people.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So sometimes we end up in compromising situations, or we end up in crowds that we clearly know are not fitting for us, right?
Yeah.
And so all because we want this approval, we want people to accept us. And the older I got, the more I realized that I am looking to impress people that don't pay my bills.
Okay. It really be like that.
That don't live with me, that could care less about me.
They don't.
And so I kind of just shifted my priorities into pleasing God, because I realized that there's always going to be someone who doesn't like what you say, who doesn't like how you dress, who doesn't like how you talk, who doesn't like what you do. You can't please everybody. I'm not here to please everybody. And I realize that I am a shepherd to some.
Okay.
I'll never be a shepherd to all. And that's fine.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
I've accepted that. So you can come through the doors. You don't have to stay. maybe there's a shepherd for you. It's probably not me. And I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm totally okay with that because I've realized I can't be all things to all people.
Right.
No one can.
That's burnout. That's really burning
It
out
is.
yourself.
It is. No one can be all things to all people. So first I had to let go of control.
Right.
Second of all, I had to not care about pleasing people and winning the applause of others. And my focus was pleasing God. Like, what does God want me to do? How does he want me to do it?
Right.
Now, in terms of balancing everything, I have this philosophy.
What's your philosophy, girl? Share with us.
I do my best and give God the rest.
Okay. Yes.
Because sometimes I look back and I don't even know how I did it.
Right.
I don't even know how I, co-pastor, grad student, mother, counselor, mentor. I don't even know how I do it.
Wow.
But what I do understand is that God has given me a grace.
Yes. Yeah.
So the grace that I have is not the same as someone else. And me and my sister were actually just talking about this the other day. And I said, Vicky, you have a certain grace.
She do. She be. Okay.
The grace that you have to run around here and get organized and do all these things. I said, I don't have that grace.
I don't either,
My
girl.
grace is different. And I think it's understanding that, God has given each and every one of us a certain grace. And I just do what I can. I prioritize, and what I can't do, I just let God do it.
That's so good.
I lose the concept of perfection, because when we get caught up in being perfect, then we lose ourselves.
That's true.
We lose focus on what's going on around us. We lose what's priority. And I don't have time for that.
Honestly, it's so tiresome.
It is. It's exhausting. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing that you say all the time, and I love it. It gets me every time. You know what I'm about to say.
What
your
I'm saying,
best
girl?
is even your worst to God.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, that's all we can do is give our best. Because even in the spiritual realm, we are nothing without God.
Yeah.
We are nothing without him. So we give him what we have, which is our heart posture, the best. And then he multiplies that. Yeah.
And he specializes in less.
That's
so while you coming over here thinking you got it all figured out, you're Miss Goody Two Shoes and you're perfect. He can't work with people that have it all together.
It's fake.
It's not the real deal. You got to come with him with what you have, and he multiplies it.
Period.
He takes the 5 loaves, feeds 5,000.
Yes.
He takes the empty jars, he turns that water into wine.
Okay.
Like you got to come with what you got, and let him do the rest. So when I come to him, I'm like, hey God, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I ain't slept, I ain't rested, and I said, this is all I got, and then he gives me what I need. He gives me that grace. Yeah.
Your honesty with God is very admiring. Like, I feel like a lot of people are not honest with God. I feel like we are afraid of telling God, like, I am tired, especially people in ministry or just doing life in general. I don't know. It's just like, God, I have so much to do. I got to pay my bills. I got to be a good friend. I got to go to therapy. I got to do all these things. But at the end of the day, I'm tired. You know? And for me, being honest with God about that, it was so hard because I wanted to be strong.
Well, I think one of the problems with that is the church has kind of, and not all churches, but I'm just speaking about the church in general, has kind of created this image where you have to be perfect.
Right.
Right? The church is supposed to be a place for sick people.
It is.
But yet when you come there with your problems, you get judged, you get looked down on, whatever this kind of stuff. So I think that trickles over even into our personal lives.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to hiding in church, hiding our field.
Okay.
Instead of exposing the field, we hide in the field.
Yeah.
So we don't get healing, and then at home we hiding from God as well. And it doesn't work that way.
No.
And so I think that's the problem initially. We're so used to hiding outside that it becomes a part of us. So we hide inside, and God is just looking at us like, "What you doing?"
Right, because he sees
What is this? Yeah, it's like, just be real with me.
Just be real.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
really good. Girl, you gonna do it every time. You 2 for 2 right now.
I'm 2 for 2.
Two
Okay,
for 2. One more.
that's good.
You ready?
I don't know, because your questions be suspect.
Not all the time.
Today. It's giving suspect.
I showed you beforehand, though. I gave you a chance.
I forgot.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's all authentic.
It is. I like it.
But no, I'm about to you with this last question,
Okay.
though. Okay, it's a good one. I feel like this is honestly your specialty.
Oh, Lord.
Just all of you.
Okay. Okay.
So the last question is, what did it take for you to discover who you are? Pastor Mercia, the one thing I've always heard you say is, I didn't know who I was. But then when I did, this is what happened.
Yeah.
What did you have to leave behind, or what courage did you have to say, I am going to discover this woman God has created me to be?
Child, I had to hit rock bottom.
Like, really?
I did.
It got to be like that all the time.
It doesn't have to be that way all the time, but I think I was so stubborn.
Really?
I was stubborn. I was hard-headed. I was set in my ways.
Okay.
I was a party girl. And I think
Me too.
the beginning of the change was after I lost my mother. I think that was the lowest point in my life, because I got to a place where I hated God. I hated church. I hated people who claimed to love God, you know, and I felt like they weren't there at my lowest time. And so I had this anger and bitterness, and my life was just kind of spiraling out of control. And eventually I hit rock bottom. And it was just like, God, if you are real and if you are sovereign, and if this is all still a part of your plan, then I need you to show me yourself.
Right.
And he did. He really did. He showed up, and one day I just found myself having so much peace. I didn't have anything.
Right.
I hadn't taken my boards. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a house. I didn't have anything, and I was broke. And he just gave me this peace. And I realized that it wasn't from me. And I started to ask myself, like, why am I so happy?
Right.
And I don't got nothing. Like, why am I so happy? And then I realized that it was God. And so from that moment, I wanted to discover more about who this God is and what he has for my life.
Right.
And the more I drew close to God, the more he revealed me. Because that's how it works.
Right.
It's the closer we get to him, the more he reveals ourselves.
Right.
He reveals himself, but then we also get to see who we are.
Right.
And he starts to tell us who we are. And we become more and more like him. But it's only through intimacy with him, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So the more I get closer with God, the more I will discover who I am. Is it the light that he shines on me?
It is, because the light that he shines, first of all, it exposes the darkness.
And that's what I'm afraid of. That's really what, like, the darkness inside me, because I know me. Y'all don't know me. I know me.
I'm scared now, girl.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Why are you afraid of that, though?
I don't know. I just feel like I just put so much effort putting it away. You feel me? Putting it away, hiding it away. It's like, okay, we don't need you right now.
Sweep that under the rug.
Yeah, just sweep it under the rug. We over it, but really not over it. And I just don't know, you know?
But the thing about, it's better for God to expose it than someone else.
That's true.
Because with him exposing things, there is redemption. You know, God reveals to redeem.
Yeah.
So if he reveals something in you, it's to redeem you.
Right.
It's to bring you back. So it's better for him to do it than someone else to do it.
That's true.
Honestly. Yeah. And the good thing about him, when he exposes the darkness, he just doesn't expose it. He drives it out.
Oh, okay.
So you may want him to expose all those dark areas and drive them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that what he did with you when he exposed your darkness? How did you deal with that?
I think for me, because I was in a place where I was just so fed up,
it
was easy for me to just, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. When you hit rock bottom, I think Kirk Franklin said this, that's when you realize that he is the rock at the bottom.
Yeah. That is so true. He is the rock at the bottom.
Yeah.
Not the rock.
Because you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You have no one to turn to. All human efforts fail. Everyone disappoints you.
Right.
And so all you're left with is God.
True.
And so you have no choice but to look to him.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop being so afraid of myself.
Yeah, no, let him expose all those dark areas, girl. All those fields. We got to deal with all those fields.
All the fields to get to the what? To the
it's
gold.
A treasure.
To the treasure. No, that's so great.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Can you believe I'm done?
No, I can't. Because you always got something to say.
I do. That's your exciting. Okay. No, I believe that you really made your mark today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we believe that the way that you make your mark is how well you communicate your perspective. And I feel like you do a really good job at that.
Oh,
That's Mercia.
thank you.
I've always admired you about
Thank
that.
you. I try because, I feel like things have to be practical. I'm so tired of, teachings and things like that are not really relatable.
Right.
Like that. I believe the Word of God is what it is.
It is.
But I also believe that it can be applied in any generation. You just got to know how to communicate it.
Right.
So that's where I really work hard and strive to make sure that, when I'm communicating something, people can understand,
right.
They can relate, and then their lives are transformed. Yeah.
That's good. How do you not get worked up with like how other people are communicating something and just do it the way that, God has told you to do it?
That's a good question.
I guess I wasn't doing it.
No, you weren't done. How do I not get worked up?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just not the type of person that gets worked up with how people deliver things.
Yeah.
I believe that this is my stance. If you're up there teaching,
right,
it's because we want you up there.
Right.
So to answer let that prophesy to you. If you ain't up there, maybe it's because you can't communicate.
Well, there's some people up there who can't, and they're still up there. Okay? That's tea. It's not shade. That's all tea. Just know that.
That's too much tea.
It's not. It's not. It's the truth.
Discuss this off camera.
It's true.
Let's talk about Willis.
But no, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so this is the thing. One time, my husband and I were visiting a church for a couple weeks. And the first week, they had this guy, Pastor, preach.
Right.
And I wasn't really I was like, communication style for me. It's just not. And then the other couple weeks they had his sister preaching. And I said, she can communicate.
Right.
She needs to be on there every time. And then this is what the Holy Spirit ministered to me. He said, if you continue to look at how someone is doing something, you will miss what I'm trying to say to you.
That's true.
And so from that day on, regardless of how I felt,
right,
because I'm human, I still have feelings, right? God gave us feelings for a reason. I could feel a certain way, but I don't let it deter from what God is trying to say through the vessel.
That's true. That's good.
Because we're not always going to like how someone does something.
Right.
We're not always going to like, that's why we don't follow everybody.
Yeah.
There's some people who are, Sarah Jakes fans, and there's some people, there are other people, everyone has a following based on what they like and what they don't like, right?
Right.
But the message is the same. If they're being used as a vessel, we need to learn to focus on the message and not the messenger.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or else you miss what God is trying to say.
That's true.
And a lot of times we miss what God is saying because we're so caught up in the shell. Right? We're so caught up on how someone looks. We're so caught up if their lace wig was curled right. We're so caught up if their skirt is knee length. You know what I'm saying? We pay attention to things that are just so irrelevant, and we miss what God is saying through the vessel, because God isn't going to come down on a horse,
right,
delivering a message to you. He's going to deliver it through his servants.
That's true.
So we have to learn to respect and honor the vessel that God speaks through, regardless of how we feel.
I like that. I like that you got me together. But I have another question.
Okay.
It's gonna be it's a little, it's a little deep.
Oh.
Okay, but what if the vessel hurts you?
So, okay, I like that. 2 weeks ago, I spoke on the principle of honor.
Yeah.
Right? And even if someone hurt you, and remember earlier I said that you can't control what other people do. You can only control your response.
Yeah.
So I have learned, even if people hurt me, I have to figure out how to let that go. I have to continue to honor them. Yeah.
Wow. You still have to honor them.
You still have to honor them.
How do you do that?
Ask God to help you every single day.
Because if it was up to me, I'd be in jail.
Every single day.
Right.
And the more you honor them, the easier it gets. It's like praying for someone you hate, you can't stand. Today, your prayer can be like 1 second. And then in a month, you're praying for them 30 seconds. And then in a year, you find yourself, but it's intentional. You have to be intentional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so God has called us to honor everyone, even the people that you, then you will prove to be my disciples.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
You just have to.
Yeah. It's just the way it is.
Because everyone makes mistakes.
That's true.
I've made mistakes. I will make mistakes. You know, and that's why I tell people, I say, can you deal with the field? Can you continue to honor the person even after seeing their field?
Right.
Their mess, you know?
I like that.
Yeah.
You taught me a lot today.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you for coming on my little show.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Have me driving here yonder to get to you.
Come. Make friends with us. But no, I really appreciate the time that you took out of your busy schedule, okay? Because we know what you're doing after this, okay?
Yeah.
I really appreciate you. I really thank God for this opportunity.
Oh.
You know, I made a promise to God one day, like a year ago. I told him, I said, if you help me out, I'm going to exalt you.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is that moment.
It is.
Yeah, and so I just thank you. I thank God. You feel
You're
me?
welcome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could be here. I hope I answered all your questions.
You did.
To its entirety. And
it was
some.
just 3.
Okay.
3 plus 5, 6, 7, 8
Yeah.
now.
But who's counting?
Who's who? Not me. Not me. Maybe you. Not me. But nah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe next time, we'll have the little mics here, But it's all good. It's okay.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Get cozied up.
Next time.
Okay.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Marked View. Hopefully you loved this, episode and what we had to talk about. Hopefully you had a good time listening to our conversation and learning, Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Comment down below. I'll have her socials in the description box below and everything like that. And have a great day.
All right.